All right, let's get straight to it. If you're in Tamil Nadu right now, I bet there's one big question on your mind. The cyclone's gone, so why on earth is it still raining? Well, in this explainer, we're going to break down exactly what's going on, take a look at how the monsoon season has been so far, and then see what the forecast looks like for the rest of the month. Yeah, this is the big one, right? Cyclone Diva is long gone, its remnants have totally fizzled out over the Arabian Sea. So if it's not the cyclone, what is causing all this rain across the state? The answer, it turns out, is a completely different, much more classic weather pattern. Okay, so let's dig into the real reason for today's weather. With that cyclone system out of the picture, the stage is now set for a different player to take over, and this one is all about the wind. The main driver right now is something called moist easterly winds. You can just think of them as a giant conveyor belt. As these winds travel from the east, they move over the Bay of Bengal, and they just soak up a ton of moisture. Then, when they hit the coast of Tamil Nadu, they release all of that moisture as rain. It's a pretty simple but very effective rainmaking machine. And here's the key takeaway for the next couple of days. These easterly winds are the reason you're going to keep seeing rain today and into tomorrow. But there is some good news. Their impact should start to ease up, especially in the northern parts of the state, starting later this evening. Now, to really understand what's happening now, we kind of have to zoom out and look at the bigger picture. How has this northeast monsoon season actually been for Tamil Nadu so far? And the answer? Well, it's a bit of a mixed bag. So at first glance, things look pretty good. As a state, we're at a 10% surplus for rainfall, which is great. But that one number, it is hiding a way more dramatic story when you start looking at the district level. And wow, this is where it gets wild. Just look at this contrast. It's incredible. On one side, you have Tirunelveli, which has gotten a massive 118% surplus of rain. And on the complete other end of the scale, you have Chengalpattu dealing with a 27% deficit. It's literally a tale of two different monsoons happening in the same state. And this pattern of extremes continues when you look at other districts. Virudhunagar and Vellore also seeing really healthy surpluses. But then you look at Chennai, which is sitting right at the normal mark, just 1% above average. And meanwhile, places like Salem and Dharmapuri are still running a deficit. So it's clear the rain has been anything but evenly distributed. So with all these wild swings, what's the bottom line? Well, believe it or not, despite these huge differences from district to district, the overall outlook is that the state as a whole is probably going to finish the season with rainfall totals that are pretty close to normal. A couple more good rain spells should help even things out. All right, enough with the big picture. Let's zoom right back into the immediate future. What can you expect across Tamil Nadu and even in neighboring states over the next 24 hours? Okay, for a big chunk of the state, especially if you're in the southern and western districts, get ready for some moderate to even heavy rain. We're talking about places like Kanyakumari, Tirunelveli, the Nilgiris, Coimbatore, Salem, and about 15 other districts that should be prepared for some pretty significant rainfall. Now for other areas, including Chennai, Truvallur, Kanchipuram, and those delta districts like Tanjavur, the rain is more likely to be light to moderate. So you can still expect some rain for sure, but it probably won't be as intense as what the southern and western parts of the state are going to see. And just so you know, this weather system isn't stopping at the Tamil Nadu border. Over to the west, Kerala is looking at widespread heavy rain, especially in places like Idukki and Wayanad. And up in Karnataka, areas like Kodagu and Mysuru are also set for some moderate to heavy showers, while Bengaluru is likely to see lighter rain. It's a pretty broad event affecting the whole region. And now for the long-range view. We've talked about the now and the next 24 hours, but what about the rest of December? Well, it looks like the weather has a pretty specific rhythm planned for us over the next few weeks. So here's how things are expected to play out. From now through December 6th, the rain is going to slowly taper off. Then we get a short little one-day break on the 7th. After that, a new spell of rain is set to arrive around the 8th and 9th, and that's mostly going to hit South Tamil Nadu and the Delta regions. Then we can all look forward to a much longer dry period from about the 10th to the 16th, before one more potential rain spell shows up around the 17th to the 19th. So to put it simply, the rhythm is basically stop and start. First, the rain we're seeing now will fade over the next 2 days. Then we get a quick return of rain just for the south. But the really key part here is that long, dry period that's expected for most of next week. It should offer a real break before one last potential spell later in the month. So, after all that, what's the crucial takeaway? It's that the current rain is just a temporary phase, driven by winds, not a cyclone. And while the monsoon so far has been a story of extremes, we can finally see a clear pattern emerging, with a really welcome drier period on the horizon for most of us next week. The big question, of course, is whether that final rain spell will be enough to balance the scales for everyone. We'll have to wait and see. Thanks for joining me for this explainer.